What up, gang? What up, Bolt Gang Central? All right, so that was a horrible loss. That was, oh my God, that was a shit show. That was a straight up shit show, bro. Like, I don't even know. I can't even call it, right? So I made a video and I said, there is no way in hell we are going to lose this game. Not wearing our navy blues, our throwbacks, you know what I'm saying? Not playing in prime time ish, because our game was originally on Sunday, which would be today. When they flexed it to yesterday, which was Saturday. I was like, no way in hell, being that the Houston Texans already kicked our butts last year in the playoffs and kicked us out in in Houston. Now they come to LA and just bully us. I think Herbert got sacked like 5 or 6 times. Somebody, rightfully so, called it in my comment section. So shout out you. You called it. You called it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm not a mind reader, and you may feel like you don't need to be a mind reader in order to know that was going to happen. So kudos to you. You know what I'm saying? We've been through tough games before where Herbert's been sacked a lot of times, and we still somehow came out with the win. So all of those things that I listed before, being in our navies, being in prime time, this being a revenge game, this being Harbaugh's second year, I just did not see us losing that game. I didn't see it. I didn't see it, but it's what happened. It's what happened. So Houston Texans came into LA yesterday officially. They played at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and they beat us 20-16. Now, there's a lot to break down with this, and I'm not going to attempt to do it in this video because it's just way too much. And there's going to be other guys out there, other groups out there, other pages out there that go into more detail with this kind of stuff, and they get into the statistics and the analytics and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to be the statistics and analytics guy. I'm more of the passion. I'm more of the, you know what I'm saying, the positivity. I'm just a fan. You know what I'm saying? I've never played football before. Like, I was on a team for like a hot second. Right when we got to our first scrimmage, I think that's when I quit or I cut. I don't even remember anymore. It was like my junior year in high school. You know what I'm saying? And I never played Pee Wee or nothing like that. I'm just a fan. So that being said, sometimes, you know, I'm going to make the wrong. That's why I don't bet. That's why I don't bet, because I'm going to bet on my Chargers every single time. And sometimes I'm going to lose. Sometimes I'm going to lose because I see the potential in the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers. I see major potential. I don't see us losing very many games. And literally, we've lost 5 games. This is our 5th game that we've lost, and there's only one more game of the season. We're sitting at 11-5 right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that those 5 losses seem so much larger and so much more detrimental than what it truly is for us. We're still in the playoffs, we're still in the running, but we lost this game. No longer are we in the running to be the AFC Kings of the West, or the Kings of the AFC West. It's just not going to happen this year. The crown king is the Denver Broncos. So kudos to the Denver Broncos. You guys have played an amazing season so far. One game left against us. May the best team win. But the best team definitely won yesterday. Texans versus Chargers. I got all the faith in the world in my Chargers, but at the end of the day, the best team won that day, and that was the Houston Texans. Now, the Houston Texans got up 14-0 on us in the first quarter. Within the first few minutes of the game, CJ Stroud was throwing long balls down the field, and they caught him. Blown coverages, miscommunications, just mishaps, misconceptions, just missed opportunities all around for the Chargers. We literally only lost the game by 4 points, because after the first half, second half came around, our defense locked back in like they normally do, and they only held the Texans to, I think, 2 field goals after that, after they made the 2 touchdowns. So we held them to 20 points, but they held us to 16. And that's all that was needed. The defense, the Texas defense. Let me just say, kudos to the Texans. Kudos to the defense of the Texans and the offense, but especially the defense. Those boys, those men know how to play football. There's 4 different players on that team on the defensive side that have 4 different interceptions each. That's 16 interceptions between 4 players on the defensive side of the ball. Amazing. The Houston Texans defense truly is an elite defense. It truly is an elite defensive squad. And yes, they look a lot better than the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers defense. I love my team. I love our defense. Our defense has been playing lights out for the most part. The Texans defense, they're on another level. I'm not even going to front on that. So, like I said, kudos to the Texans. You know, forget the ones that talk mess, calling us the chokers again. Like it wasn't a choke. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like we ran up 14 zip and then y'all came back. That would be choking. You know what I'm saying? Like we just lost. You guys just beat the brakes off us. Like ain't no punchline to that. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to you guys, man. Kudos to the Denver Broncos. It is what it is, man. The Denver Broncos are the new AFC West champs. It's not the Kansas City Chiefs, at least. So that's something to be proud of. That's something to be happy about. So the Kansas City Chiefs are not in there. It's the Denver Broncos. After about a decade, they finally win it. So it was somebody else's turn. I thought it was going to be our turn, but the stars didn't align that way this time. Now, all that being said, there are some positives and some negatives, some good news and some bad news. We'll start with the bad news first. So let me go ahead and retrieve this information so I can have it handy, and I get right back to you. Okay, so we'll start with the bad news first. The bad news is we lost the AFC title. We cannot be the AFC West Kings anymore. That honor goes to the Denver Broncos. So we lost that title. We lost the chances and the opportunities to get to first seeding, to potentially get that bye week, to get that home game. No longer in the cards for us. Okay, it's not on the bingo card for the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers at this time. So that's one piece of bad news, that it just is what it is. We had an opportunity. Unfortunately, the guys did not meet expectations, and they failed in that regard. So better luck next year, right? Also, we lost a lot of respect today, because there would have been so much more respect given to the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers if we would have pulled out a W for this game. And even if we would have won by 4, just like the Texans won by 4, it still would have gone a long way as far as giving the team, the fan, the organization the respect that we feel we so rightfully deserve. You know what I'm saying? So we lose out on the respect. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. And also, one more piece of bad news. We lost a revenge game, another revenge game, because as you know, we already lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence. We all remember that playoff game a couple years back. And then we lost to them again this year. They spanked us again. Spanked us. You know what I'm saying? Just, it stings. It still stings. And now the loss versus the Texans stings as well. So now we got to get back like 2 or 3 different teams. We owe the Jacksonville Jaguars again. We owe the Houston Texans again. And I'm still not forgetting that Arizona Cardinals game that we lost. That was annoying. I feel like we owe the Cardinals one still for that one. And if you want to be even petty, we owe the Colts and the Commanders. But really, those 3 teams, like the Texans, the Jaguars, those ones sting to me. The Cardinals, I think, whatever. But I feel like we could have had that game too. You guys know what I'm talking about. But that's the bad news in this. And now we drop to the 7th seed. So we lose the AFC title. We lose seeding. We're still in the playoffs, but we went from the 5th seed to the 7th seed now. So we potentially play a tougher team traveling now. And like I said, we lost another revenge game. So it doesn't feel good. It stings. But, and there's a big but in this, right? There is some good news that we should remain positive and optimistic about. Now, first piece of good news is number one, we are still in the playoffs. This was never a must-win game for us. It was a must-win for the Houston Texans because they didn't clinch a playoff berth yet. They needed to win against us in order to get into the playoffs. So you're welcome, Houston Texans. You know what I'm saying? So that's the good news is we're still in the playoffs. This wasn't a must-win for us. So either way it goes, like, okay, whatever. Let's put this game behind us and let's keep on pushing. Let's keep on rolling. You feel me? Another piece of good news, no major injuries this game. Now, correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I don't believe we had any major injuries. I think Herbert kind of messed up his hand a little bit because, he was getting sacked. He was getting pummeled out there. But for the most part, I think he's good ish as well as can be. You know what I'm saying? But nobody else from our squad went down as far as I can tell. I don't remember anybody else going down, especially anybody from the O-line, which is big, right? We don't need any more people from the O-line going down. We're already working with the bare minimum as it is. You know what I'm saying? So that is one piece of major good news that I think that we should not take for granted. We're about to go into the playoffs. Like I said, the first piece of good news is we're still in the playoffs. Second piece of good news is that we're still relatively healthy entering the playoffs. Now, we still got one more game to go against the Denver Broncos, in which I really hope that they bench Herbert, Khalil, Derwin. I hope they bench Ladidi, Keenan. I hope they bench all these guys so that we don't risk any unnecessary injuries going into the playoffs over a game that really doesn't matter at this point. Who cares? Denver Broncos already won the AFC West. We're no longer in that running, so that doesn't matter anymore. I guess you can play for seeding, get better seeding, but at this point, it's not worth it if you ask me. Bench the starters, bench our most important players, our VIPs, and let Trey play. I've been saying this, but I don't think I said it in the video yet. Let Trey play. Let Trey Lance play, bro. He is a more than capable backup quarterback for the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers. Somebody who's right there, lock and step with Justin Herb. Right there on the bench, right by his side, right there in the huddle, or not in the huddle, but when they're on the sidelines, he's right there next to him, soaking up as much knowledge and game as possible. Put him in the game. Let Trey get some reps. He's a more than capable backup quarterback. Like, at this point, we don't need Herbert getting hurt. I don't care what Herbert says. Coach, take him out the game. Take him out the game now. It's not worth it. Against the Broncos, we don't need this game. We're focused on the playoffs right now. Let's lock in. Let's lock in. All right. So there's that. And the last piece of really good news that we cannot overlook is that at the end of the day, bottom line is this team still looks very, very good. In my opinion, this team is still very strong. Now, I know a lot of you are shaking your heads, looking at me kind of crazy right now. The O-line is terrible. I'm not saying the O-line is not terrible. What I'm saying is, despite the O-line being terrible, we're still in the playoffs. We're still at 11-5 with the chance to go to 12-5 if we somehow pull out a win against the Denver Broncos. Now, I believe we can still do that because it's the Denver Broncos. We just fought the best defense in the NFL. We already beat the Broncos. Yeah, we beat them by like a field goal, but we beat them nonetheless. So I have all the confidence in the world that the Chargers will be able to get another win next week to make this 12-5, an official upgrade from last season, which we ended the season at like 11-6. So last year was 11-6. This year we should be 12-5, if not 11-6, with the exact same score as we did last year. So there it is. You know what I'm saying? We got the good news. We got the bad news. I'm still optimistic. I'm still super excited. I still bleed yellow and blue. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's changed. These games, like I said in the beginning, they feel so much more worse than what they are. But if you really look at it, look at the facts. Our team went against the best defense in the NFL and only lost by 4. We were down 14. It was 14-0. Somehow our defense locked in and held that team to only 20 points. But, I think we had 2 touchdowns, but our offense just wasn't cooking enough in order to get the job done. We had so many mistakes. It was unbelievable. Like we honestly could have won that game so many different times, but it was just a lot of bad luck. You know what I'm saying? So a few, blown coverages here, a few penalties here, a few sacks here, and turnovers. We had turnovers. It was messy. It was very messy. It was very stressful. But at the very same time, like I said before, we didn't need to win this game. It was like a throwaway game. Whatever. Best chances we win, we get better seeding. You know what I'm saying? Potentially win the AFC West. Cool. We lose, whatever. We're still in the playoffs. We've got one more game to go. Let's rest our starters. Let's lock it back in and go get this title and go get this Lombardi. You feel me? Because that's the end picture. That's the end goal, is to get into the playoffs, do well in the playoffs, and to eventually win that Super Bowl. So that's what we should be focused on right now. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section. If I left out anything, please include it in the comment section. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, all that jazz. Love, peace, and light. Love more than you hate. It's still yellow and blue. It's still super charged up. San Diego Chargers. You already know what's up. Trying to think if there's anything more than that. I think that's it. We got the Denver Broncos coming up next week. Like I said, I think we should rest our starters, rest the most important, the VIPs, because we do not need to risk any injuries going into playoffs right now. So with all that being said, a win is a win, a loss is a loss. It is what it is. We, lick our wound and move the F on. You feel me? So let's go. Let's get it. Chargers, what's up, Boat Gang? You already know what it is. I'm LB the Realist. Catch you guys on the next one, all right? Hopefully with a win. All right? Peace.